Everybody, and welcome to an update on the club update that we held a couple of Fridays ago. You may have seen the announcement from the FA in line with the government and DCMS around the roadmap. So the government have confirmed as of Monday 12th we will be entering step 2 of the government roadmap. However, there have been some changes to what was outlined at the return to play. So step 2 does not look exactly as it did when we went through the presentation a couple of weeks ago. The guidance has been updated to reflect the changes in the national restrictions. The key changes are in relation to spectators, the use of change rooms and outdoor hospitality. The key bits are the spectators and the changing rooms. Again, I just want to take this opportunity to reiterate the brilliant basics. With the guidance changing, that does affect your risk assessment, so you will need to review them and update them in line with the current guidance, so the step 2 current guidance. You will need to update your risk assessments. Everything else, all those brilliant basics you're doing, ensuring your venue's safe, it's signposted, it's got segregation to stop people crossing paths, etc. Ensuring that all of your members are self-assessing before they even get in the car to come to football, whether it's training or matches, using the test and trace. And again, the link there to the master guidance you'll have on the presentation that I send with this. Keep referring back to that. So the matrix has changed slightly. Step 2, where we thought we would be, is slightly different, unfortunately. So again, it is just really important that you stay up to date with that. Just want to reiterate whilst we're here that as you see on step 3 and 4, it says no earlier than, and these are subject to change. We're finding that the hard way now, but this is a guidance document, so it's not fixed. If things do change, i.e. rates of infection go up or in certain areas things change, the guidance will unfortunately reflect that. So although we can see step 3 and 4, and we're hopeful that we'll get spectators back in at those type of dates, it's not guaranteed. It's what they're aiming for, what we're aiming for, but the government and DCMS will make those decisions as and when. So on to travel, again, no real changes here, so there's no travel restrictions. Just want to reaffirm, we want to minimize unnecessary journeys, so not having extra players that aren't in the squad attending fixtures, trying to avoid traveling at peak times, all of that stuff that we discussed before. There's a link there to adhere to the safe travel government guidance. If you're unsure, I'd recommend having a quick look through that, but that one's fairly self-explanatory. Change rooms, this is a key one that has changed. They can now be used as part of step 2 of the roadmap as of Monday, April 12th. It's really, really important though that is done in line with social distancing policies. It needs to be included in your risk assessment, so please don't leave it off. And that will need to reflect the shape and size of that facility will affect how many people can safely use it at once. So just to be clear, at no point should we be using the changing rooms for team talks or the entire squad to get changed, or if the weather's inclement and they want to get out of it. It's not what they're there for at this time. They're there for changing facilities, so people don't have to come fully kitted. It needs to be managed safely. So I believe generally before it was no more than 5 accessing the change rooms. If it's a larger space and more can be accommodated, then that can be done, but use the social distancing guidance and just make sure that is being done safely throughout. Just where you can, try to avoid using them. The weather's been absolutely awful this week, but we're hoping it'll warm up. So if you're in situations where it's not needed, you don't need the privacy of a changing room, for example, or you can put your shirt on and off outside, then that can be accommodated rather than using them if we can. So they should only be used as changing facilities. Spectators. So it's confirmed that at step 2 of the roadmap, step 1B, which we're in now, spectators are not permitted to attend sporting events taking place on private land. So that will affect clubs that have their own facility. They won't be able to have spectators or any private land. So if you're using a facility such as one of the SGP hub sites, for example, other than the adults that are there needing to supervise under 18, so any players under 18 or anyone responsible for providing care or assistance to a person with disabilities. The new guidance, though, however, doesn't clear up, but does open a bit of a door for those of you playing fixtures on public spaces, for example, parks. So spectators can attend there. You've got to be socially distanced. It's a group of 6 socially distanced bubbles that we've had in place before. The rationale behind this is that the DCMS and government are accepting that you as clubs can't police who does come through a public space. So that is the rationale behind this. I appreciate that this is going to be quite frustrating to those of you on those privately owned sites, that you can't get spectators through the door. It's what we were working towards on the 12th when we thought that we would have. But unfortunately, the government and DCMS have taken the decision that not yet. So we're going to have to grin and bear this, and we're going to have to adhere to the guidance the best we can. It's in black and white, so we've really got to be on top of this. We can't let the standards slip and allow people to come in and spectate when they don't have the right to be there. So again, just to be clear, the only people that have the right to go and spectate on those private sites are parent guardians for an under 18 or supervising an under 18, and adults that are there with the responsibility of providing care or assistance for people with disabilities. If you're unsure of anything on that, my contact details will be on the end of this. You'll have my email, obviously, if you're receiving the link to this. Please do get in touch and we'll help where we can. I totally appreciate that there's going to be frustrations with this. It's one of those things we're going to have to ride out, and hopefully, as it has this time, the guidance has changed slightly before we expected it to. We're hopeful that maybe in between we might then get the opportunity to get spectators through the door, but as of now it's an absolute no on those privately owned lands. We would encourage you, for those of you in the public spaces, if you do know of club members or people affiliated with your members that don't appear to be adhering to the guidance as spectators, again, we're not asking you to police it, but we would really promote you trying to remind people of the responsibilities. Remind your members that they may be associated with of the responsibilities that people coming to watch. You can use them as the make way. So if you do have an adult team and there's people coming to watch who aren't adhering, use the person that come to watch to go and remind them to adhere to the guidance. So we've still got to get that bit absolutely spot on in those public spaces. What we can't have is hordes of people not socially distancing, standing close around the pitch. We need to go back to from our first couple of club updates around how to socially distance spectators. So they need to be in their bubbles, no bigger than 6, and socially distance around the pitch. Parents and carers, we've covered this, but for clarity again, it's that one parent or someone responsible for the care of a disabled person that can attend. No more. So we should not see mum and dad, and we shouldn't see more than one person. However, we did discuss that little grey area around what if player A's dad can only come if he brings a sibling because there's no one to look after them. We're happy that that is a valid reason, and we would reiterate that they need to socially distance, so parent and sibling need to be socially distanced from anyone else at the game. Indoor football, as part of step 2, under 18s indoor football can take place in line with Department of Education and out of school setting guidance. All participants should read and follow the guidance for all indoor football activities, which I will include in my email. It's on the master guidance too. So that is a green light for under 18s indoor football to recommence as of April the 12th, just in time for summer to start, but it's another kind of door opening on the way back to get a bit of normality. So again, just refer you back to the matrix. You'll get the link to go straight to this. It is on our website and on the FA's website. We are entering step 2, 12th of April. Indoor football returns. The new advice on spectators and the difference between privately owned facilities and public spaces. Change rooms can now be used, but you must adhere to the social distancing protocols in the changing rooms. Outdoor hospitality is permitted, which we haven't discussed, in groups up to 6 or 2 households and in accordance with the government guidelines on catering and hospitality. So there is a green light to get the teas and coffees back on for those of you that are having under 18 carers at your private sites where you can serve teas and coffees, or those of you on a public site that are potentially serving teas and coffees to make a bit of income for the club. So if you are looking at doing that, please click that red link on the bottom there to ensure that you know the ins and outs of exactly what you can be doing. Finally, I know there's no one on this because I'm filming it myself, but if you have any questions or you require any support, the link's there to take you to the master guidance. Fire an email off to support@sheffieldfa.com, or you can email me directly, tom.measham@sheffieldfa.com. My contact number is on the bottom. I appreciate that it is Friday afternoon already. So what I'll do is I will keep my phone on tomorrow morning, and if anyone needs immediate support guidance, I will try my best to get back to you over the course of tonight and tomorrow morning. So if I don't get back to you in the kind of business hours today, I will do my best as of April 10th to try and get back to you in the morning and try and support you where I can. So again, just any questions at all, do fire them off. I hope that's helped some of you just kind of decipher exactly what you can and cannot do. I appreciate there'll be frustrations out there. It's one of those things that we're going to have to deal with. We've dealt with so much over kind of the last 12 months, 13 months as a kind of grassroots football community. It's one more hurdle. Let's work together, come together, get it right, avoid any kind of issues, particularly with local councils or any breaches of protocol, and that will give us the best chance to get back to normal in the near future. Thanks a lot, everyone. Bye.